You are listening to Studio MacGyver's Dragonball and Video Game Podcast.
Before I get started, I just want to read a message I got from one of my listeners. He goes by the name Otis222, and he asked me basically, what is that music playing in the beginning and the end of your podcast? Is it somebody, who's the artist? I would like to know. Thanks. Well, Otis222, thanks for asking about that, and I guess you seem to like what you heard, and you might be a little surprised, but that music is from yours truly, Studio MacGyver. Yes, sir. I do dabble in the music in my spare time as well. I've said it before, I love to create things. I have a creative personality, and I love music. That's another layer to the onion that I call myself. So hopefully that answers your question. And I'm probably going to end up sooner or later making those tracks available on iTunes or whatnot, and in the near future. So thanks for the question, man, and thanks for listening. Now let's get to the business at hand here. I just got through watching the episode number 2 Dragon Ball Super show, and it's pretty interesting as of right now. Looking pretty good, man. It kind of left us sitting on the edge at the end of the episode. I really don't like spoiling this type of stuff because I'm sure a lot of listeners have not seen this yet, but all I can tell you is that it involves Universe 9 and Universe 7, which represents everybody we've come to love. And there's going to be a fight between Majin Buu and a fighter named Basil, who resembles a wolf or some sort of dog, I guess you can call it. Some of you guys have probably seen pictures and seen stuff on YouTube about it, but yeah, man. Goku, Majin Buu, and Gohan are going to be participating in a exhibition match with some fighters from Universe 9. And from what I saw, it consisted of a guy named Basil, like I described earlier. He has a brother who looks similar. He's wearing a red scarf around his neck and looks like a wolf. And then there is somebody else there. But that's as far as it got. It basically led up to, Goku asking his son to participate. It was like a last minute type of thing. He had an hour to, I guess, grab 2 other fighters for this exhibition match, and then he also has the task of finding 10 fighters from his universe to participate in the actual major tournament that is going to be taking place very soon. So most of us know who those warriors are going to be. I also stated before in the last episode that I'm excited because my boy Tien Shinhan is in this tournament. So I want to see what he's going to be able to do. I want to learn a little bit about what's been going on in his life as of late. because like I said, he's that silent warrior that nobody really knows too much about. He's always off on his own, doing his own thing. But one thing we all know he is doing and always has been doing is training. So interesting to see what he has learned, if anything. Hopefully Toriyama does him some justice and we can find out. Yeah. So yeah, that's what I just finished watching. That's pretty much my Dragon Ball talk for this episode. I'm gonna try to give you guys a little love on what's going on in the Super series. Every episode, try to give you a little taste, just a little taste, and then, like I said, some added topics, other topics sometimes I like to talk about, and we can get into that. Excuse me for 1 second. Okay, I am back. Give me 1 second. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Oh yeah, so good. So good. I'm sorry. You guys who usually listen to me know that I love my Miller. My Miller Lite. So good. But yes, I'm having a can of that right now, and it's glorious. Now on to the next subject. I had a chance to play the open beta of For Honor, and I mentioned Ubisoft in the last episode about how they dropped the ball on Ghost Recon Wildlands, and I felt that I was right saying so. But man, played the game, played the beta, and I don't want to make anybody mad or piss anybody off or anything, but this is, like I said, just my opinion. The game is whack, in my opinion. It's really not all that. I mean, it's one of those games, and I kind of knew it was going to be like this, but I had to see for myself. And it's one of those games where, you can play it for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and then after that, like, you're done. You don't want to play it anymore. And it's like it's the same thing, and it's kind of like just, it's not really doing it for me. I don't know. I'm not the only person that feels this way. And I have friends who basically said the same exact thing. Everybody who downloaded it, they played it for a little bit, and then after that, they kind of like, they were done. It's just one of those games, man. I don't know. I don't think that it's going to do what they want it to do. But that's just me. It could be a lot of people who enjoy the game and are playing it like that, but it doesn't strike me as a game that you can get hours and hours and hours of, time out of. It's not one of those games to me. I don't see how they're going to hold the attention of the majority of gamers, for that amount of time, if that's what they're trying to do. Because like I said, it's an online game primarily, and that's what they're trying to focus on. Yeah, that's just my opinion though. I don't see it. I'm not going to buy the game. It's definitely not worth $65 in my opinion. Now, it might be worth $30, but after anything over $30, you're kind of twisting my arm. But like I said, just my opinion. I'm not going to be getting it. I mean, if you guys haven't played it, I advise you to do so. But by the time this podcast is out, the beta would probably be done. So if you didn't take it upon yourself to play it this week, then I would just rent it. I would not go and spend $65 on this game. I just wouldn't do it. Ubisoft has always been flimsy. Sometimes they'll put up some hot shit. Sometimes it's not. And like I said, in my opinion, it's not one of those games. Same thing with Wildlands. Wildlands is, like I said, I can't 100% say that I wouldn't buy that game because, like I said, I didn't get a chance to play it. I signed up to play it, but they shit on me, and I didn't get to play the closed beta. Even though I signed up in enough time, I wasn't selected for whatever reason. So if I do play that game, it will definitely be a Redbox experience or a rental. But I'm not going to spend $65 on something I don't know anything about and had the chance to learn about. There are some games that they don't have demos, they don't have betas, and people will buy them for other reasons. This is a game that I wanted to find out how it was, because the closer and closer it gets to release, people are saying certain things about it, and it kind of made me a little shaky and wondering about why they're saying these things about the game. So I got more curious, and I said, well, let me play the beta, and didn't get a chance to do that. So I will not be going to GameStop or wherever else games are sold and spending $65 on this game, mainly because I had the opportunity to try it and I didn't get that opportunity, and it's one of those games I'm on the fence on. So I'll just wait and try to rent it and see what happens. If I enjoy it, hey, more power to Ubisoft. If not, then didn't get it done. But like I said, all these things I'm saying is just simply from my perspective. There's probably some people who've played it and say, hey, I actually stand by the game and love the game. And if that's how you feel, hey, man, more power to you. I'm not going to player hate if you love the game or even if you like the game. I've never been one of those guys. You know what I mean? I am not a player hater. I'm just not that dude. So, yeah, man, I hope that it does do something and I eventually get to play it and actually like the game. But as I stated before, there's only 2 games right now in the near future that I see myself just going and saying, look here, take my money and I'm not going to look back. That is Mass Effect and that is Horizon Zero Dawn. The closer and closer that Horizon Zero Dawn gets to the release, the more and more I'm loving it. And how you tell that a game is going to be really good, in my opinion, is the closer and closer it gets to release date, there's more footage coming out, steadily coming out. I mean, there's like an hour and 40-minute gameplay footage on this game, and they're breaking it down in every sense of the word. The game is deep, and it's one of those experiences that I think if you're a player who wants to dive into a game and get lost in a game in a single player experience, this is something you should pick up and play. And if you don't believe me, just go to YouTube and type in Horizon Zero Dawn and you'll get everything you need to know about this game thus far. I mean, everything from the gameplay to even a lot of the enemy and the AI and how they operate, weak spots, etc., etc. It's a lot to take in, and that alone is enough to make my horizons rise even higher when I think about this game. Can't wait to play it. Looks great. I just think it's going to be a great experience and something I can play while waiting for Mass Effect to drop. So yeah, man, really looking forward to this experience, and they already have my money. So very few people can say that. The Last Guardian did the same thing. I don't expect everybody to understand that, but in a future podcast, I will break down this company, Team Ico, aka Gen Design, and hopefully at the end of that podcast, you will understand, especially the younger gamers, why I love The Last Guardian and their other titles as well. So might have to teach you guys some things on that podcast, but that's another podcast. We're talking about now games that I want to play and games I've played and didn't really appreciate up until this point. And Ubisoft, like I said, they are flimsy as hell. On Monday they might be great, and Tuesday they might be shabby as hell. So that's pretty much where I am on that. Another thing I kind of wanted to bring up with you guys is what's up with Tuesday release dates on games, albums, all that shit. I mean, what's up with that? A lot of companies now, if you notice, are leaning more towards Fridays now, which is the smart thing to do. Think about it. I mean, it should be actually quite simple. You have companies that want to put games out on Tuesdays, and it's kind of like, what the hell are you doing this for, man? I mean, everybody gets paid on Friday, so why would you be releasing it on a Tuesday? It just makes more sense to release games on Friday as opposed to Tuesday. It makes way more sense. Just way more. Okay, most people, and I'm speaking on most people now, most people are off on the weekend and get paid on the weekend. So when you get paid, you're thinking about, hey, when I get paid, I'm gonna get this game. I want to play this, and then I'm off, so I can put my time and hours into this game, and I can really get some work in this game. You know what I mean? That they coexist together in a beautiful way. Fridays and weekends and gaming. It's perfect. Perfect time to play games. That's what most people play the most. You know what I mean? But they steadily release games on Tuesdays. I don't understand. Like I said, some companies are changing it up and switching it, and I think everybody else should follow suit. I think eventually that will happen, but I'm an advocate for it right now. It needs to be done, in my opinion, right now. Because, you budget and you try to do your things or whatever, Tuesday is not a day you're thinking of, oh yeah, Tuesday, I'm gonna play this game, gonna buy this game, whatever. No. It's just so much sweeter if you can do it on a Friday. Because, think about it, sometimes you got money invested in certain things, and, and then Tuesday comes around, you're like, damn, okay, it's either gas in my car and dinner for the next few days, or it's this game and ramen noodles and not going anywhere for the next few days but work. Like, a lot of us gamers have those type of problems. I'm not saying I do, but I can relate because there was a point in time where I could say I did have those type of problems where, and that's how passionate gamers are. I mean, we're willing to sacrifice, a good dinner for the rest of the week and not being able to go anywhere, saying for a decent game. That's how you know you made a dope ass game. You got people eating ramen noodles for the next few days as opposed to, the other scenario behind the video game. So, but it makes more sense that way on a Friday. I mean, hey, okay, you can have your cake and eat it too. And it just makes you feel a bit more better, it just makes you feel, more relaxed and relieved about it. You know what I mean? And then from a consumer standpoint, I mean, it's just a smart thing to do. And then from the company standpoint, it's going to help you out because you're going to have a better chance of selling more games that way. You just are. So, like I said, the majority of people get paid on Fridays, and that would change the game for a lot of developers trying to get that money, trying to get those sales to, come down, in that first week, that first 2 weeks or whatever, you know. But hey, I'm just a gamer. What do I know, right? Just thought I'd throw my 2 cents in there on that subject right there. I think it's very, very important. And I think that everybody should think about doing that. Yeah. And let me also say this too to my listeners out here. somebody was saying something about this to me the other day, and I thought about it for a minute. I was like, I think I need to address this sooner than later. So I will address this real quick. This podcast is called Studio MacGyver's Dragon Ball and Video Game Podcast. I know this. But let me just say this. I should have said it earlier on in the earlier podcast, but I'm saying it now. I do watch other anime besides Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball is just my favorite. So you guys, we can talk about any anime you want to talk about. I'm not opposed to talking about other anime. Let me just put that out there. So if you guys have any questions or concerns or comments on something else, we can get into that too. Trust me, I would love to hear from you guys on a good anime that's out there that, I might be wanting to watch, because there's so much out there. You can get lost in it. And like, I love Berserk, Titan, Attack on Titan was also dope. One of my favorite movies, anime movies, is Ninja Scroll. Inuyasha, love that. Fate Stay Night and Fate Zero, love those. I love those to death. So there are other anime that I do watch, and I don't want to make the listeners feel like, oh, we just have to talk about Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball only. Dragon Ball is just one of the major focal points of this podcast, and I will always be talking about Dragon Ball in some form or fashion. Video games, you already know. So, but I am not opposed to talking about other anime, and I will eventually do that as well. So if you guys want to hear about it, or you guys want to suggest something to me that I should watch, please do so. Please do so. And like I said, that's actually another podcast in its own right. So I just thought I had to talk about that, throw that out there real quick. So yeah, man, I think I'm gonna end the show on that. It's a quick little show today. I had a lot of shit to do these last couple of days, taking my son to his grandmother's house, and I bought a new guitar amp. Just trying to fit everything into this weekend, man. And sometimes it's hard, man, especially when you work a regular job and want to do so many other things. You have to manage your time, and that's what I've been trying to do. But I'm always going to put this podcast out there, man. I made that conscious decision to make that happen, and I am sticking to it. I will always stay true to this podcast, and I will always get an episode out every week. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that something might happen down the line and I might not. It might skip a week, or you might get an episode later in the middle of the week. That could happen. But as long as I am breathing and I have feeling in my legs and hands, I will be putting out a weekly podcast for you guys. So with that being said, I'm going to leave you with that. I want to thank all my listeners once again. If you want to contact me with questions or concerns, you can hit me on Twitter at Studio MacGyver, or you can email me at Studio MacGyver Music with a K at yahoo.com. Thank you guys for listening. See you next time.